our grandpa will have a lasting imprint on our lives. He made sure each one of us knew we were loved, special, and strong, which is an impressive feat because there are so many of us. He would call us often to check in, and sometimes he just knew when we were struggling with something in our lives, and he'd do whatever he could to help out. He was not only there for us in words, but he was there in person supporting us whenever he could. He was there for dance and acrobatic recitals, for sporting events, for birthdays and graduation parties. He cared about all of us so deeply and so richly, and you always felt it when he talked to you. He and Rosemary have helped us with so many things in our lives, with college costs, with first homes, with first cars, and with so many other things along the way. Nothing made him happier than for him to see us succeed. And we owe many of those successes in our lives in part to their generosity. As his grandchildren, I think a lot of us looked up to Grandpa and Grandma Rose's adventures. I know I'm inspired by all the traveling they did together around the world, whether it be an all-inclusive in Turks and Caicos or a river cruise through 5 countries in Europe. And I think about how awesome it would have been to have met them in my own travels, because Grandpa could talk to absolutely anybody, and he'd have them laughing and having a great time within minutes. He was quite possibly the greatest joke teller of all time, even if his jokes were as old as he was. You couldn't go a single Christmas without hearing chestnuts roasting on an open fire, and Grandpa chiming in with poor Chess. Yes, most of the time his jokes were inappropriate, but they were always funny, and he always had that twinkle in his eye. He made everyone laugh and feel comfortable, no matter who you were. Even when he was in the hospital, he was the life of the party, cracking jokes with his nurses. You had to know how to laugh at yourself around him, though, and that's an invaluable lesson among many others that he imparted in his grandkids. There were other certain rites of passage one had to endure when growing up with Grandpa Proctor, most of which revolve around his favorite place, the lake. You had to bait your own hook, take your own fish off the line, pee in the lake occasionally, be dragged from behind a boat on an inflatable death trap. A lot of us had our first alcoholic drinks with him, and we all endured a little or a lot of teasing and sarcasm. But we wouldn't have had it any other way than growing up Proctor, as Mish would say. Grandpa's legacy is one that we should all aspire to. He was extraordinarily generous and compassionate, the true epitome of living life to the fullest, and he was loved beyond measure. He will be missed here, but we rest a little bit easier, knowing that you've probably already made some friends up there and met up with some old ones. And you're probably already pouring them a drink. You love him.
Hi, I'm Nicholas. I wanted to write a speech today for Grandpa that he would like, but since I'm in a church, I don't really want to offend anybody. I've lived the clean, radio-edited version now. Lots of things could be said by many on who my grandfather was. To me, he was a thick-skinned, stubborn, set in his ways, off the cuff, quick-witted 20-year-old in an 88-year-old's body. And it's hard for me to think of a time that John wasn't smiling. And if you don't remember him smiling, you probably weren't that funny, and you probably didn't have enough to say. Grandpa was very set in his ways. He loved traditions. I remember him starting off each holiday with a shared prayer. I respect how much he loved church. He sat in hospice listening to gospel hymns. I love to watch Grandpa give the new boyfriends and girlfriends of the family a hard time. He wanted to see if they could handle being around us. If you could fire back one of his comments, you gained his respect right there. He's able to give or receive jokes like it was no one's business. I feel like it was my job as a family member to try and give him a run for his money, but I would always fall short because I was running with the big leagues. I never got to thank him for being an inspiration for the man I am today. No matter how many times I've revised this, I feel like I'll have much more to say. But that's just how it is sometimes. In conclusion on my part, I wanted to read a small excerpt from the late Stuart Scott. Every day I am reminded that our life's journeys is really about the people who touch us. When you die, it does not mean you lose to cancer. You beat cancer for how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live. So live, fight like hell, and when you get too tired to fight, then lay down and rest and let someone else fight for you. Thank you for a smile and a laugh when the room needed a grandpa. My next part is on behalf of the grandchildren. This next part is written by all of us. More so written by Grandpa and told by all of us. He has had many significant impacts and things that we can all remember in all of our lives. You had to be careful when taking candy from the house. Jacob took a Reese's from the fridge, and when at the plate came, Grandpa smacked him on the head and said, "What you doing, boy?" He would always speak his mind, jokingly insulting everyone with his twinkle in his eye. He taught all of us how to fish, how to hold on tight to the inner tube, how to be sarcastic. Mitchell and Max, or how Grandpa would like to say, mix and match, would make a bet. They would see how long it would take Grandpa to refer to them as girls. He would usually have them within the first hour. You ladies ready to go? He would always let the grandchildren drive the boat. He liked the smile it brought to our faces, and we liked the smile it brought to his. He was a great man for many things, but being a professional driver was definitely not one of them. In high school, Jamie missed the bus. He was the only person that could drive her. And let's just say Jamie never missed the bus again. With all these things said, and many more, he was our grandpa. He had thick skin and a kind heart. We'll all miss you, you old fart.